A rato! Hold up, guys. I'm trying to... Screen time is almost over with. Sorry, I'm trying to get... Because if I turn on the TV, I won't be able to...
Verify send a veteran in Rochester. Show me how to...
They're still protesting like nothing happened, though, which is crazy.
I have to make a... ABC 7.
Let me show you some video. They're saying...
Reporting,
get this launched.
We're low on fuel. Area teams now overhead. They're going to help you out with the rest.
Tony, are you going over there?
I have 3 units.
They're saying, and honestly, I don't know if the stringers try to go there, if they'll even be able to get there. A little graphic warning, but it's not really, you don't really see much, but it's just the truck pushing through the crowd and people screaming. The whole truck. Thank you, T. Westlix. This and apparently this is an Iran protest out in Los Angeles, and so for some reason this truck, I don't know if the truck was just fed up. Some people are just tired of the roads being blocked. They're trying to get to where they gotta go to. I don't know what happened. That shit even has some type of Islamic sound inside. I don't know. Wow. And then they just continued protesting like nothing. This is live helicopter feed. They just kept going. They moved on, I guess. I don't know what the... But let me listen to this lady because she has radio.
Y'all gonna see me in my business. And streaming, obviously.
End of times.
Pursuits and listening to calls and all of that. So welcome in. Who we following? What's his name? He's right here, Noticias. He's on his way over there.
Truck of peace.
Well, actually, he said, I'm almost there. I don't know where he gonna find park.
Let me see, too, if we can get some of the other news stations out there. There's no audio on it, though. I guess the chopper's just out there, so... Let me see if we get some other... ABC. Do they have a KTLA out there? Let me check some of these news stations real quick. See if we can get some info.
Air 3, we had a plan to plug in these holes. So once our resources get there, we can plug in these holes and keep them to a particular area.
Okay, what do you think about just getting on a veteran between Wilshire and, let's just say, Wellsworth?
They're gonna stay there.
Wilshire and
the crowd is gonna stay right there.
Rochester, they can just kind of hang out in the street there. They can use the park if they want. So we can at least people contain to one street then.
Yeah, this is Westwood.
That's perfect. What, repeat the streets again?
They ain't gonna leave. I think they always protest in this block right here, so they're not gonna leave.
I'd say let's take all the veterans from Wilshire to Wilkins. Veterans from Wilshire to Wilkins. That'll give us a large area where they can spread out a bit, and then they'll have that park as well, so they can go in there, get some shade, and hopefully leave at some point.
Sounds good. We have a resource center right now. We'll be sending them your way.
Copy.
Wow.
85 now. We're going to be code 6 in a few minutes. Where would you like us?
No, it's not. I don't think it is. I want to find out for what.
Let's take care of this crowd over here on the east side of Veteran at Rochester. So call
Did you hear this little girl?
Rochester from Westwood.
No me dice gracias, por favor.
The crowd to the actual west side of Veteran.
Porque a ratito te compramos ice cream. Who? Oh my God, who's streaming my live? Why would you guys do that? It's funny.
And we're going to contain these people, like I was telling you on Veteran there. Then we're going to need a couple of blocking forces. We're definitely going to need a lot more resources. Do you know if MSS is up today?
Oh, my best friend is Iranian, and she said they are going into war. Oh, wow. Okay. They just off the internet, power, water there. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Roger.
Miss Tina,
we're
who?
We're going to contain this crowd on Veterans like that. We're going to need some more resources with blocking forces.
And tens of thousands of
people
marching across the country this weekend to protest the deadly shooting of a Minnesota woman by an ICE agent, including right here in LA. What started as a peaceful protest turned into unrest in downtown LA last night. Several people were detained and police squared off with immigration.
Oh, that's not that. Okay. Damn. Lagging. Fox has been like slacking lately. Oof.
Do you have enough resources there with you to do the initial part of that?
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Sounds like we got a couple more headed this way, though, so we should be able to.
God damn it. Why do we have to be fighting for...
Yeah. So they're saying, let me see if I can see what else they're saying about this. Crowd that was rammed into by this U-Haul truck, which is insane. Insane in the membrane. Apparently the protesters try to grab this person, yank him back. Multiple victims as person drove the U-Haul truck through the people in. Holy shit. For those that haven't seen this yet, this is a little bit of a clip of the video. Holy shit, dog. There we go. Crazy, man. That's so insane. I can't believe, like, okay, this truck ramps through these people, or pushes through these people. People they're banging on the side. And homeboy over here, this guy here with the sunglasses, he's just like, okay. Turns around. What's up? He just walks away like nothing. Da-da-da-da-da. What the hell? Massive protest. We got to see if we can find some people on the ground, too. Police seen detaining a man at the Iran protest. Where's all the news media? They've been slacking lately. They're slow to everything. I mean, shout out to ABC7, but especially Fox. What's Fox been like slacking lately, man? What are you guys doing? This is a huge protest taking over the streets of LA. And you guys are worried about reporting on the weather. That's the only thing you guys do is report on the weather. The hell? Wow. They're saying it was done on purpose. That's what Shannon said. No Shah, no regime. So the people protesting on the streets, are they protesting for the people of Iran to get rid of the regime, or are they protesting for the regime and for the people to stop protesting over there? I don't understand what they're protesting, because nowadays I don't even know anymore. breaking a U-Haul truck, drove into a pro-Iran. Oh, it's a pro-Iranian demonstration outside of the federal building in Westwood. So they're pro the regime and communism, I guess, is what they're saying. I don't know anymore, bro. What the? Wow. Oh, they don't want our troops over there. Oh. Oh. Let me see what else they're saying. Okay, new video shows most people moving out of the way. I don't know if there's anybody injured or not. Could be not. There's a new video, a new angle by who's this? This is Intel Point Alert. Yo, there's somebody riding on top of the truck? Are we not going to talk about that? What the? There's a dude riding on top of the truck. Yo, what the hell is going on? Yo. Dude surfing on top of the U-Haul truck. Wow. That is crazy, dude. These people not playing, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what to say anymore. This is live scenes right now. They were showing where the U-Haul truck was stopped. But massive crowds out there. I guess the protest continues on. Oh, okay. All right. Oh my God. It's just insane. Okay.
It's a crime scene.
I need to step away for a second. That's Los Angeles girl on TikTok. Los Angeles.
And then we'll just push the crowd up north slowly and get them up here to Wilshire and Veteran. Push them here, and then they can just stay there. So we need a blocking force at Ashton and Veteran, at Wellsworth and Veteran, and then we're going to need another blocking force to come eastbound on Wilshire from Sepulveda and hold that intersection, Veteran and Wilshire.
Oh my gosh.
166. Have you given a dispersal order already?
It was Mossad. Sorry, guys. Inform me who Mossad is.
We were getting this from another air unit. I'm not sure if they did, but I can give one to this.
Oh my god.
Roger, please.
I have no idea. Someone inform me, please. Like, can you go school me and let me know? Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Case have you seen an 11 suspect there now at 93 Joe South Wall Street at Smart Final. Suspect is a male, white, 65 years, glasses, blue sweater, blue jeans, collections at 2654 or 1829.
That is definitely crazy.
About 3.
Everyone, summer.
You can finish that last call.
826, Roger.
All right, shut up. It could mail. Yeah, a guy was on top of a U-Haul and the U-Haul hit the gas into people. But he had a sign, so this was intentional.
Able to handle a possible ADW San Juan Hotel, code 2, incident 24-2, RD 853. Batteries.
So who did this? Who did this attack? Who plotted this? Who planned this? Who's the culprit behind this? They say it was probably intentional.
Truck.
Sir, do you want us to disperse? Or are we just giving them a place to hang out? My understanding was we were going to let the protest happen and just give them a little contained area. But if that's not the case, if you want them to disperse, then let me know, because then we would change our blocking forces.
Oh, she gave me a shout out. Thank you. That was nice, sir. I'm gonna send you some of her love. Hold on, let me send her some love. I had to step away for a second. Can I send her some coins or something? How do you do this? Here. Oh, no, we don't do that. That's a lot.
Parked on the west side of Veteran. From these guys.
Lieutenant Chief, Stolen Vehicle Investigation 4962 First Street. Code 2 incident 2661 RD331.
Okay. There's a lot
of Hollywood unit holding a timed vandalism suspect there now. 11206 Van Owen Street. Code 2 incident 2553 901517. North Hollywood units handle the timed out call before going outside division. Identify.
We're meeting with the PR.
Right.
Closing Corrections Holders 33 is requesting an additional unit 62nd west of. 33 is requesting supervisor.
Street. Have units respond eastbound from Menlo.
Okay, 754 North Kenmore, 754 North Kenmore Avenue, second-hand information, two-story house, this week is a amount for description, something mailed by 15 years. It's code 3 incident 266492.
I'm now northeast. I'm just on the 405 now. Thanks.
Just 656 suspect driver is a male, white, 20 years, curly hair, pointed at a black and white handgun as a victim. Information incident 2660 and RD 811.
211. Correction, citizen following attempt to 11 suspect, Hyperion and Edtrick. The suspect is a female white, 50 years, green shirt, khaki shorts with a grocery bag with an additional male white, 50 years, gray shirt, black shorts, code 3 incident 2665 RD 11.
North up to Wilshire and Veteran, and then I was thinking we'd just give up Wilshire between Veteran and Midhill since it's already blocked. That would be ideal, right, to give them that space? But if you want the crowd dispersed and completely out of here, then we got to come up with another plan.
They're trying to figure out what to do with this crowd. There's a huge crowd that doesn't want to leave. Plus, there was this truck that plowed through this crowd.
Yeah, airship, stand by on that.
So from what I'm reading is the protests in Los Angeles were organized by members of the Iranian diaspora in solidarity with ongoing anti-government demonstrations in Iran. They were explicitly against the current regime, with participants demanding regime change and criticizing Ayatollah for economic failures, political repression, and crackdowns on protesters in Iran. I'm not sure how they feel about U.S. intervention, though. But at least that's what I'm reading. So maybe this was a message from Iran. Maybe this is Iran's message. You want to mess with us? Trump, you say you want to come over here and do this and do that? Okay, we got something for you. Hello? Hello?
CP to the airship, verify the area that you saw, if they were to congregate in an area, would be Wilshire between Midvale and Veteran.
Are you calling with information or?
Yeah, copy.
How are you looking at me? Okay, all right. Tripping. Am I not watching you live? I'm like, yeah. How am I seeing you live? Because I'm live. What? Okay. I think maybe they were calling to tell me about the U-Haul thing. I've been on it. We've been on this since the last stream. We were on this before anybody else on YouTube. Come on. We're the first.
Full coverage of the ceremony throughout the night and into tomorrow morning. That is.
Okay, I want to see if there's any other. Well, shout out to ABC, really, for being out there. There's no other station that I can see that's out there. Let me see. Okay. The deposed Islamists are threatening Israel and Iran, but their Ayatollah is hiding in a bunker. Okay, I didn't know that. I haven't been keeping up. I know there's all these protests in Iran, and I know that the lady on TikTok, Los Angeles girl, she was asking too. There's chaos in Iran right now. If you go online and you look at any of the videos, they're burning shit down, burning banks, protesting, but they're supposedly also getting killed. Protesters, it's not like over here in America, these spoiled brats, you know, the protesting and in some cases, nothing wrong with protesting, but rioting and doing all this kind of crazy shit. If you do that over there, you're getting shot and killed, and that's what's happening. Not even just, I'm talking about just protesting. You're going to get shot and killed over there. And that's what's happening. And somebody just drove their truck through this crowd. And Iran doesn't like Trump, you know, with the recent situation with Israel and all this other stuff. But I think there's been some back and forth with threats to don't intervene with what we're doing right now. Maybe this is them sending a message. Oh, here's more video. Thank you, Katerina. AZ Intel posted new footage of the aftermath. Take a look at this. Check this out. Holy, no audio, but wow. Massive crowds. There's the suspect right there. Cops are grabbing him, but the crowd wants the suspect. They're saying, F the cops. We know you're going to get this guy bail and some other bullshit anyway. They're trying to grab the suspect for themselves. Street justice. Holy moly. This was definitely planned and targeted. This wasn't just, I'm tired of somebody blocking the road. This was more to make a message, send a message, political, whatever, the stuff that's going on in Iran. Wow. Crazy to see, man. Hiding in a bunker. Wow. Damn. Okay. This is ABC Live. ABC Live over the scene, over this protest. Large Iran protest. Holy crap, dude. Oh, there's more video. More video being posted. Okay, let's see. More video here. Raw Alerts posted this. Wow. One guy. I don't know if this was before or after, I wonder. Oh yeah, the window's already broken. I can't tell. Maybe that was before. And what I don't get is that guy on top of the truck. Like, who was that? Might have to play that video again, too. A guy riding on top of the truck.
Coverage right now to bring you breaking news from an Iran protest happening right now in West LA. Air 7 was overhead right when a large crowd got going after someone into a U-Haul. Now, to put some context to this entire situation, there was a planned protest for 2 o'clock this afternoon outside the federal building in Westwood. That protest was called Anti-Iranian Regime Rally. Well, about 3:30 this afternoon, just as Air 7 flew over this protest to kind of get eyes on what was happening, this is what happened. That U-Haul drove through a very large crowd of protesters. It's difficult to tell how many people. We are told by LAPD nobody was injured in this, but you can see this quickly became a very, very tense situation. There was a driver inside that U-Haul. You can see him interacting with protesters who are jabbing flagpoles and all sorts of objects through the window at him. What you cannot see in this video, on the other side of that U-Haul, there are Iranian signs that have some sort of message written on them. Whatever was going on in this crowd, people were unhappy, perhaps also scared, because there was a U-Haul truck driving through this massive crowd of people. As you can imagine, this created quite a scene. We're going to let this video play out for you. This was just about 3 o'clock this afternoon, so a little more than an hour ago. I'm sorry, 3:30. This was just less than an hour ago. And as this video plays out, we've watched it here a few times in the newsroom. You can see the crowd physically pulls that driver out of the U-Haul cab. And as they are doing so, you can see people in the crowd going after him. What you can't tell there, those are LAPD officers that are also involved in pulling the driver out of that truck, trying to take that person into custody. And as police officers are doing that, the crowd is going after that person, trying to physically harm them. It is a very, very tense situation. And what we're going to see here is police ultimately walk this person through that angry crowd of people and take that person into custody. But all the while, people in this protest crowd are going after this person. As we mentioned, this was an anti-Iranian regime rally protest that was planned in Westwood outside the federal building. You can tell this is a very large crowd. Now, this comes on top of protests that have been unfolding all week and getting increasingly tense in Iran and also here in the United States. This started in Iran as sort of an economic protest. When shops started closing, the currency is devolving under the regime. And people there in the streets are beginning to revolt. So wait, hold on, I want you to watch this video here. That is police taking the driver of that U-Haul away while protesters continue to chase the person who is in police custody.
So that person's in custody. If you guys haven't seen this video, I'm still wondering who the hell is this person riding on top of the truck? This is crazy. Look at this, the person on top.
Played out in Westwood today, that chaos, and you saw the person, as the person was being taken into custody, other people coming up and hitting that person, striking them with the police right there. This has been a tense situation that has been dating back months, even years or generations from what we have seen.
It's really heated up in just the last week or so. So as we mentioned, starting in Iran and sort of spreading across the country here in the United States and really around the world, we've seen demonstration like this. There is a very large population of Iranian Americans here in Los Angeles, the largest population of Iranian Americans outside of Iran. And we're told by one of our colleagues that that flag that you see right there, that is a flag that stands for all of Iran being represented, but they are asking to be represented not by the Ayatollah, the supreme leader right now, but by a new leader. Apparently there is some disagreement within the population of Iran about exactly who should lead the country. But one thing that these groups can all agree on is that they do not want the current leader, the Ayatollah, to be in control of this country any longer.
It has been a repressive regime for a long time, and it's been a country of two different societies, one that is more Western, more free, and then we have the clerics who rule over with a very stern fist. Reza Pahlavi is the son of the Shah of Iran. The Shah, of course, ousted. If anyone has seen the movie Argo, you get a brief history into what happened there. But of course, that was highlighted by the hostage situation in 1979 and 1980. And he is now the son. Reza Pahlavi is the son of the Shah. That is the figure that a lot of people want to see return to power, open the society back up, which was once a thriving worldwide society.
Okay, so this video that we're showing you here on the right side of the screen, this is the video I was referencing earlier. These are the signs that are on the other side of that U-Haul that drove through the crowd. And you can see one of those signs at the bottom says no mullah. That means no leader. That stands for the Ayatollah, who is in control of Iran right now. This is essentially groups calling for regime change, although as you can see, the protesters in that crowd are not happy with what that sign says. They are ripping those signs off the side of the U-Haul, and this is, at least in part, what angered the crowd. And as we were speaking with an Iranian American here just a few minutes ago to kind of get some context to this situation, what we're being told is part of the fuel of all of this is there are several different political beliefs in Iran. There are several different factions. But for the most part, the thing everybody can agree on is that they do not want the Ayatollah in charge of Iran anymore. So that you can see that sign says, do not repeat 1953. A lot of different flags out there. This is a crowd that really got going because the U-Haul drove through that crowd and also because of the messages written on the side of that truck.
Right. The Shah was more connected to the United States. It was more a Western society. And within Iran during that time, there was the more religious movement that basically took over the country, a student-led movement, but then the clerics took over as well, became more repressed, more isolated, and as you see, they have connected with some other bad actors throughout the world, teaming up with Russia and China. South Korea, there are ties there as well, and problems all throughout the Middle East. Iran kind of leading some of the problems that Israel has dealt with and other democracies in the Middle East. Proxy wars, Lebanon, Iran-fueled violence against some of the democracies of the Middle East. And so here you have violence breaking out once again. Two factions. There you go. On the right, you can see that poster right there. That is Reza Pahlavi. That is the figure that a lot of people want to see take over Iran, the son of the former leader of Iran, the Shah. And again, I remember covering a story maybe around summer of last year in this exact spot, right at the corner of the federal building there. A crowd gathered pushing for Reza Pahlavi to take over Iran.
A lot of shit going on around the world, man. This is crazy.
Outside of Iran, he has been ousted from that country, trying to return and clearly gaining power. And it was at his direction this week, he told people in Iran to protest, to see if they can finally make a change here. And we did see hundreds of thousands, if not millions, take to the streets of Iran. And that is when you saw the crackdown of the leadership of that country, shutting off power, shutting off the internet, no access to the outside world. And that is now extended here to the United States.
This is unrest here in the United States that is emblematic of what is happening in Iran. And again, this started as an economical protest. The currency in the country is crumbling. Shops started closing because it is simply not sustainable. People cannot afford the cost of living. And they blame the regime for that. As Iranian Americans, many of them are very, very closely connected to the country. Many people have family there. So this is unrest that is spilling out into the streets of Southern California in solidarity with the people of Iran who are dealing with this in very real time. This was a protest that started as an economical one and quickly turned political, as you can see with the signs of Reza Pahlavi, the Shah, the son of the Shah, in Iran. Now, there are many factions. There's no united front on exactly what people want to see happen. But people are upset with the economic situation, and they blame the politics of that country, and this is what we are seeing as a result of that. The good news here in Southern California with this protest happening right now is, despite the fact that there was a U-Haul truck that drove through a crowd of what looked to be
Nola, thanks. Apparently, here's a close-up of the guy being arrested. Close-up of the suspect. Oh, somebody took some shit and tried to clock him over the head with the shit. I don't know what that is. Clock the motherfucker. Maybe should have thrown a brick in his ass. We're arresting him. Yeah, because they're about to pull that guy is lucky. Police was right there. The first time LAPD has ever been at something so quick I've ever seen in my life. First time. He's lucky these people were there, because if they weren't there, his ass would have been pulled into the crowd and he would have disappeared. We might have never seen this guy again. He would have been pummeled to bits and pieces. He better thank God. Thank God that those cops were there. I've never seen this LAPD be there so fast in my life. You would have thought they were riding in the back of the truck. How fast LAPD responded. It's the quickest I've ever seen these people respond before. Maybe they were there for the protest. Wow.
Take people into custody, including the driver, but they just weren't able to do that due to the size and the anger of the crowd in that moment. And so they're just basically trying to cordon off that truck, be able to take the driver into custody. It was a
fast
very
I've ever seen. They're not there for the regular citizens that are getting murdered and
not a lot
killed.
of room to work, and a very
they were there really quick for this guy.
And all of this comes at a time that feels very politically fraught in this country. Yesterday, we were watching scenes much less violent than this, but somewhat similar to this, with a tense protest. Oh, you can see this person jumping on the hood of the U-Haul, trying to kick in the windshield. So this is an example of just how heated that crowd got as the U-Haul drove into the crowd. But again, we were saying this was happening at a politically fraught time in our country. Yesterday, we were watching a protest like this against Immigration and Customs Enforcement in downtown LA, where people stopped at the federal building there. We saw situations like this play out over the summer. There have been widespread protests across the country this week over the U.S. actions in Venezuela.
What's going on?
And against Immigration and Customs Enforcement here in this country. So we are sort of experiencing a very fraught time.
Indeed, on so many different fronts. Just to give you an idea of how protests go in Iran under the current regime there, 2 weeks of protests have been happening. More than 115 people are dead. More than 2,600 have been detained by the Iranian authorities. The Attorney General of Iran is warning protesters they will be treated as enemies of God, a capital charge. That is the death penalty for protesting against the government of Iran. President Trump has been looking at military options for what he is going to do against Iran. We are still awaiting a decision from the president. He has struck at Iran's nuclear facilities last year in a major aerial strike in which he hit a mountain complex that housed some nuclear facilities. It appears that Iran knew about the attack beforehand and was able to get the bulk of their program out of that facility, but the facility itself sounds like it was destroyed, or at least heavily damaged, that it can't be used for several years. But Iran has been a focus of this Trump administration, and really, I'd say every president since the Carter administration, if not prior to that as well. It's been a problem for a long time, and a lot of people have been killed there. They are very open to capital charges and openly hanging people for offenses that we would consider minor or not offense at all in Western society. And so It is fraught. It is a different society. And here you have people driving through with the Iranian flag in a convertible SUV. And
this is happening after
the movement continues here on the ground.
Right. This is happening after a planned protest that was scheduled to start at 2 o'clock this afternoon in Westwood outside of the federal building. The name of that protest, Anti-Iranian Regime Rally. Part of the reason this is happening in Westwood is that is an area of Los Angeles that has the largest concentration of Iranian American population. The largest concentration of Iranian Americans is on the west side of Los Angeles. Yeah. There are several 100,000 Iranian Americans here in the area. So they chose to protest outside the federal building as they have during situations like this before. This is what the crowd looks like now. It appears to have dissipated a good amount over the last half hour or so. But even before that U-Haul drove into the crowd just about an hour or so ago, there were several hundred people, passionate people, standing outside the federal building, having their voices be heard. Part of the reason it's happening at the federal building is there's controversy about how the U.S. involvement in Iran, how much the U.S. should get involved in this situation, follows weeks of protests in Iran that started as an economic protest because the currency and the economy is devolving there. And this has quickly turned political, as these things often tend to do. Here in the United States, you can tell that is also the case. There are several hundred protesters who have that large, oversized, outstretched Iranian flag sort of as a unified front against the regime in Iran.
I'm actually just going over some of my notes from when I covered this story back in June of last year at this very spot. Some of these quotes from the people we talked to who were taking part, I'm sure we're hearing echoes of that today. This is one from Hamed from Orange County who told me the majority of Iranians, they don't want the Islamic Republic, period. What we need is the willingness of an Iranian nation to be combined with international support. And he says that doesn't mean military support at all, but the type of support that will be able to overthrow this regime. So just support from around the world. We have another one from Golnar, who is an Iranian American, whose father was in the Air Force, a general, a Top Gun pilot who was killed, executed by the Iranian regime. He was 19 years old. He says, ever since then, I've been fighting for our people and praying that Iran will be free from the tyranny of these people. Now is a time for our armed forces in Iran to do the rest of the job and actually make this happen and save our people. Those are the kind of words that can get you literally killed in Iran. Yeah. But this has been a long time coming. And when a despot, when a dictator, when authoritarian rule feels they are threatened, as the Ayatollah and his regime is feeling right now, they clamp down, they tighten up, and they start killing people. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And a lot of people in America have ties to Iran, on the west side specifically, particularly, and they're not okay with it. And once again, coming out to show that.
And I think people here in
wow, it seems like with Trump in office, all of a sudden, all these people are now they have the courage to fight back. It seems like, I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like, what are the chances? Venezuela, Iran, wow, Cuba's next, Mexico, what's going on?
It's also an anti-regime, some of the signs were anti-regime messages, but perhaps a different faction of anti-regime than some of the people in the protests. That's perhaps why they are ripping those signs off the side of the U-Haul after this truck drove through a crowd of people just about an hour ago in Westwood.
Per LAPD, it sounds like they are talking about dispersing this crowd, putting an order out, telling them to demonstrators to leave the area. We do see from Air 7 that it has broken up a little bit. People are starting to leave the area, but right now it looks like they are blocking the intersection. Is that right on the corner?
Yeah, we're caught up in all this shit. Venezuela, Iran. Oh, man, we're caught up in all this stuff all over the world. Oh.
The federal complex there on the corner. This spot, of course, we have seen many times in the last 12 months. This is where U.S. Marines were stationed when President Trump sent them to Los Angeles. We saw National Guard members. So we saw protests here for that. We saw protests here after the strike on Iran against the regime in Iran. And here we are again.
Here's some more video, too. I'm bringing you guys clips that I can see. More video. Check it out. People are not playing, man. These people are not playing. They were about to pull in the cop. The cop almost got yanked into the crowd. Look at this shit. Oh! person is so lucky for this police. I've never seen this police defend victims like this. Holy shit. Life on the line. Almost remind me a little bit of the Night Stalker, California serial killer. That it's the LAPD took so long to catch this rapist and murderer, forever, that the streets caught his ass. They called 911. But before the cops got there, they beat his ass, that serial killer. They beat his ass. That guy had a big thing on his head and welt on his head and shit. The Night Stalker.
U-Haul driver that made their way through here accidentally, whether they are with the crowd or completely against the crowd or with part of the crowd or wanted to hurt the crowd or just, this was an accident, we do not know, but the crowd took it as an attack. They're ripping down signs off the side of the U-Haul, attacking the driver that drove through that crowd. The police were able to pull the driver out and take him into custody, but even as he was walked away by police, people continued to come up and attack him, hit him with flagpoles and objects, trying to throw punches while in police custody. The police...
And the weird thing is the signs that are on the side of the truck are anti-regime. So the signs on the truck is not like, oh, we're here for Atoyola. The signs are not like anti-protest. The signs are pro-protest. So... I don't know. Was this just a misunderstanding? Like, did he accidentally hit the acceleration instead of brake, and then the whole everything just started out with this attack? Is he pro or anti-regime?
In protests where there is a very tense and amplified mood amongst people, LAPD officers likely had to scramble into the crowd and sort of separate the truck and the crowd of people. But they were quickly, LAPD officers in that video seemed to be quickly overwhelmed by the size and ferocity of the crowd.
Yeah, you saw on the side of that U-Haul, it says no repeat of 1953. That was basically the U.S. and British-backed coup to overthrow the government of Iran. Of course, it was taken back a generation later in 1979, something that Americans know all too well when those hostages were taken in 1979, freed on January 20th, 1980, just hours or minutes after President Reagan was sworn into office. The Iranian regime did not like President Carter and specifically wanted to free the hostages out of his regime to give credit to Ronald Reagan and not to Jimmy Carter.
That sign says no prince, no Ayatollah, and it's difficult to tell what it says after at the bottom of that because protesters are physically ripping it off the side of the truck, so they clearly do not agree with that message and are also enraged by the fact that the driver just drove a truck through people who were out there demonstrating. Many of the Iranian Americans here in the Los Angeles area ended up here after the...
Oh, true. That's a good point. Helen, thank you for the 5, says pro-regime terrorists probably used protest signs to slip past the crowd. All right, true. Because imagine they roll in with pro-regime stuff in the truck, they're probably going to get stopped. It's going to be a huge red flag. But if you go in with anti-regime, you could probably slip past and get to where you want to get
Guard are a very intense and a scary entity to deal with, not afraid to publicly execute for minor offenses.
You can see the windows of that U-Haul right there, even on the passenger side, smashed in, the rear view window being smashed there by people in the crowd.
Is the driver still in the vehicle at this point that this video is taken? Someone's talking. I don't know if they're talking through the cab or whether they're still trying to pull the driver out at this point.
But you can just see in the video how amped up people are. It's difficult.
The driver is still in. This is before police. Yeah, so this is prior to police showing up. And
this video taken by one of our photographers who was in the middle of this situation, clearly getting a very clear vantage point of all of this.
Right. Again, we see the reaction. We do not know the motivation.
Right.
Because there are, to untrained eyes, like admittedly mine, I do not know which side this person is on based on the messaging, because it says no Ayatollah, no Shah, right? So we don't know who they want to be leading Iran or their connection to the people gathered there, whether this was an accident and people were upset, or whether this was an actual attack, an intentional assault with a vehicle on a crowd.
And you can see the live images from Air 7 right now on your screens.
Pause for a second. They're saying that, thank you for tagging me. They're saying, I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you probably don't even know what's going on with this star, but they're saying Nick Sorter just got attacked. Oh, shit. Damn, Nick just walked out of like, no, he's not even affected by that shit. He's immune to flashbangs? Wow.
Did he punch you? Yes. So I broke his glasses, and now he can't see.
Oh, wow, that's a mess out there.
That was weak as fuck.
Suck their dicks in there. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. I thought they left the area. I didn't think they were still there. And meanwhile, we're still covering this crazy attack. I guess this attack on this large Iran protest. A truck through the crowd. I've only heard maybe one person has been injured so far, though. There hasn't been there's no deaths that I've heard of. Reportedly, maybe one injury so far. We have to wait and see. It could change. And I don't know about the dude that was riding on top of this truck. I don't understand that. Somebody said maybe he was hit by the truck and he ended up on top of the truck. I don't know. Riding out on top of the truck. Wow, man. 2026. Okay, I guess it's going to be a crazy ass year. Wow. Jeez.
Building complex at Wilshire. They did expect hundreds of people, and in basically the flyer for this, it's a photo of Reza Pahlavi. He is the son of the former Shah of Iran. Stand in solidarity with the people of Iran for regime change was the title of this movement. They want new leadership in Iran. They want to do away with the repressive Ayatollah and his regime. It has been a hard life for 3 generations now, 50 years, almost 50 years in Iran since the government was overthrown. The U.S.-backed government was overthrown by the Ayatollah and a student-led movement. And it is not an easy place to exist if you don't walk the line completely from what the government says you need to do.
And while much of this started as an economical situation, it quickly turned political. Many of the protests are demanding a less religious Iran, less strict religious Iran, and a more secular Iran.
Right. And again, this is surprising to a lot of people, but there is a largely secular portion of Iran, largely in Tehran and the major cities, that looks like it could be here in Los Angeles. It looks like it could be on the west side. It is a very open society. Women have rights. There is a lot of leisure and arts that are present. It is not what people have the idea of Iran, but that's not the entirety of Iran. And at times we can see them crack down, and it is it's two, as we said earlier, it is 2 different societies living in the same country under one leadership, fighting 2 very different eras in this country's history. One, a more Western, U.S.-backed society, very open, more secular, and then you have the clerics who have taken over the government and led by the Ayatollah, several Ayatollahs before him, who are very repressive. It is not a good place to live if you are a woman. If you are gay, it could be a death sentence. Openly gay or caught in open society, and any kind of freedoms that we enjoy here in our country, it is a much different story there in large parts of this country. But again, there is a lot of freedom, surprisingly, in portions, in pockets of Iran that a lot of people don't know about.
And many of the people here in the Los Angeles area, Iranian Americans, have ended up in the area as a result of the 1979 Iranian Revolution. People are out here protesting in solidarity with the people in Iran who may not have the same freedom to do so. But in this situation this afternoon, things were fine for an hour and a half and then very quickly got out of control when a U-Haul drove through the crowd. It's still not clear if the person driving that U-Haul was in disagreement with the crowd, but it appears that there was some sort of intent to it, as though there were signs on the side of the U-Haul. But we will have to wait to hear from police about what exactly happened here. Regardless, the crowd was very unhappy with this situation.
Wild video. This could have ended badly in a couple different ways. The U-Haul could have done a lot more destruction and damage to people as it drove into that crowd. Luckily, it looks like no one was injured. 2 people were evaluated on scene by the LA Fire Department, declined transport to the hospital, and they seem to be okay. There was word of a 3rd person who might be injured. The LAFD said they were having trouble locating them if there was a 3rd because of the size of the crowd. It doesn't sound like that person was seriously injured, if they were at all. This driver also could have faced serious injury if the police hadn't moved in and stopped the rabid crowd from pulling him from the truck.
Well, and as we're watching this video, again, we've seen it several times now, if you've been with us here for the last half hour or so, that driver appears to be engaging with the crowd, yelling back at them as they're jabbing flagpoles through the window. It appears that driver is throwing some sort of, something back at them, and clearly appears to be engaging, at least verbally, with people in the crowd before the crowd and police officers physically pull him out of the cab of the truck.
Here's where officers take him out. It looks like he was more than willing to come out of that truck. At this point, needed protection from the crowd. And that's when the person jumps up on the hood and starts stomping in the windshield. And as you see, people continue to attack this guy as police are taking him into custody, and that would continue. I don't know how much tape we have here to roll, but we do have video of that driver being let off on foot in handcuffs with a police custody, and people continue to come up and assault him.
They say he bailed out already.
Is so furious here. It appears as though police officers are even having difficulty getting that person, the driver, through the crowd. People are just continuing to throw punches at the head of the driver. The person that's right up against the cab right now, that is the driver of that U-Haul.
Somebody told me that they believe, that their husband believes the driver is anti-regime, but also anti-Shah. And I think Shah is the son of the previous leader that they're talking about, I guess. I don't know much about this. I'm not sure. I don't know what this guy's motives were. The protest was anti-regime. Okay. The driver and the truck signs were no Shah. Maybe that's what that means then, no Shah. So, damn, it's so convoluted. There's people there that don't want regime. I don't want regime. I don't want regime either. But I want Shah. No, I don't want Shah. Is that what's going on? Yo, is that what it is? Holy shit.
You can see people from the crowd continue to chase this person and police officers down the street as he is led away in police custody. I also think it's interesting, granted, we are only seeing one very small angle of all of this, but it appears that police are so concentrated on taking that driver into custody that the police were not taking anyone else into custody in that crowd.
Right. Well, that might also be they don't have the numbers to start arresting protesters, because if you start taking demonstrators into custody, that's going to anger the demonstrators even more, who feel like they were the target of this attack. And I don't know if that was a resource thing or just trying to get this guy out of here and calm the situation down. But you're right. They did nothing to take anyone into custody or other than flank that area to stop people from attacking the driver.
And there's the U-Haul. This is a live image coming in from Air 7 right now. There's the U-Haul that drove into the crowd of people. That's the U-Haul that was at the center of that crowd, the video you were watching just a moment ago. And now that we can see it by itself, it gives you an idea of how many hundreds of people were surrounding that U-Haul in that moment.
Right. Now
we got all these problems in America. We already have our own problems. Now we have
paramedics and police and fire right here who are treating any potential victims. It does not appear as if there were any to be taken to the hospital. The 2 that were evaluated declined transport to the hospital, which, that raises some more questions for me about, was this an intentional attack? Because if you have a U-Haul of this size and you want to inflict damage on a crowd, it's not very hard to do so, and that really didn't happen here.
We have a reporter and a photojournalist on the ground. They're trying to speak with people in the crowd, get some information from police about what exactly happened here. We're going to prepare to regroup and join you at the top of the hour on ABC 7 for our 5 o'clock newscast. But as we leave you, we just want to let you know what exactly was going on here. These are live images coming in from Westwood, where a very large crowd of anti-regime protesters for Iran were protesting outside the federal building. U-Haul drove through that crowd of people just about 3:30 this afternoon.
We'll continue to follow the situation and join you in just about 5 minutes live on ABC 7. We'll see you then.
Oh, let me take a look. I don't know, because I don't know, Grok is saying no, but then it's also saying that there's multiple reports and expos today directly linking the truck signs to MEK supporters. MEK stickers, MEK slogans, no Shah. The crowd included many pro-monarchists waving pre-1979 line. I saw people saying, I'm going to have to go read up about this stuff and find out this whole thing. Waving pre-1979 lion and sun flag, supporting Reza Pahlavi. I saw the guy's face. They were holding the banners of the guy's face. Okay. Man, this is just wild, man. United States of Iran. Make Iran great again? Wasn't that Miga? Miga? Didn't it say make Iran great again? Miga. What you said? Miga. Oh, wow, Lily, thank you for the 100. The majority of Iranians shouting for the return of the king. Reza, back to Iran. This guy has the slogan related to a terrorist group, MEK, okay, which is before 1979. Was against, and the Shah still fighting against people's wish. They are extreme Islamic group worse than mullahs. Damn. Mika, please. Wow, this runs deep though, man. I didn't know. I've been seeing the clips the last couple of days or week or so. I've been seeing all the clips of like the protests. I mean, straight up trying to fight back, burning stuff. It said even banks, and then now they're saying the Atayola is over there running, hiding in a bunker or something. Now they're saying civil unrest here in LAPD. Mika, what? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me plug that into. Let me see what it says here. What does Trump have to say about this? Are they working on a strike tonight? They're going to snatch up Atayola out of his bunker? Okay. And so the current wave of protests in Iran shows significant and growing support for the exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. son of the last Shah. Okay. But it's not accurate to say the majority. So not the majority. I don't know.
This.
The tough call, man. The U-Haul incident MKA connection. The truck driver in January 11th plowed through the crowd, displayed slogans like "No Shah, no regime," USA don't repeat 1953, no mullah. These are strongly associated with what they're saying, what you just said, with the People's Mojahedin Organization of Iran, MEK PMOI. That's crazy, man. So the MEK is a longtime anti-regime group opposed to Ayatollah and the theocracy, but also explicitly anti-monarchy. They reject any return to the Shah / Pahlavi. I can't even say it. Pahlavi dynasty, viewing it as another dictatorship. Okay. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. I have to try to absorb that.
Liz Jury, this demonstration became quickly chaotic when that driver of this U-Haul right over here began moving toward the crowd. You can see that it is right here at the corner. All that shattered glass from the windshield, debris, and glass on the ground. This is a crime scene surrounded by crime tape and police. And we have video of that moment of this U-Haul moving toward the crowd. Air 7 showing you this U-Haul surrounded by a crowd beating the truck. This happened on Veteran Avenue near the federal building on Wilshire. That's not too far from where this anti-Iran government demonstration was taking place this afternoon. At one point, the crowd manages to get the driver out of the vehicle, and eventually LAPD gets involved. Now, we spoke with an eyewitness moments ago. Take a listen to what they saw and heard.
This guy from the last traffic light, he came inside people and he started running through the people. And many of us, we ran behind him trying to capture him. Finally, long way from back there to here, we stopped the U-Haul truck and the people pulled him down and started beating him up. And this is a clear example of what we're facing. The people of Iran are facing this kind of terrorism, and they're doing it all over the world. And this is a clear example. Now, everybody can see.
Now, you're taking a live look at what is left of this demonstration. That is the intersection of Wilshire and Veteran Avenue.
The driver.
And police here were dispersing the crowd, moving them back toward that intersection. And from my vantage point, it looks like the crowd has dwindled. But this afternoon, there was hundreds of people here for this anti-Iran government demonstration. Now you can see a line of LAPD officers just making sure that no one comes through this yellow line. But it is a massive crime scene here, and we still don't know the circumstances that led up to this driver of this U-Haul coming here to move toward the crowd. But as you can see, the damage, the investigation continues. I'm Tim Pulliam. Back to you.
Yeah, still waiting to hear if this was intentional or accidental. Tim, thank you very much. Now, we've also seen a lot of demonstrations this weekend against...
Yeah, I don't know that this was an accident. They're already trying to plug in. I don't know if it was intentional or an accident. So it was pretty damn intentional. The guy could have braked at any moment. Or maybe they'll say he was in fear for his life too, and that's why he accelerated through dozens of people, and they'll just use that as an excuse. I don't know. That guy is so lucky. He better pray to whoever he prays to that the cops were there, because this crowd was going to pummel this guy. He might not have come out there alive. I don't think he might have made it out alive. They were going to pummel his ass. Because these people are fed up. You can tell. Oof. Oh, yeah, they were hitting him. They were beating him over the head. The one guy we saw in a different angle, he did come. I don't know what he had. It hit him hard though. The other clip had audio.
George 20 to CT.
Clocked him over the head with something. Boom! And then somebody else again in the back. They were beating him. Luckily, so far, I haven't heard of any deaths. Somehow. Maybe one injury. So that's good at least. Holy crap. All right, I think I'm going to get off for a bit and try to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. But I'm going to get off for a bit. On a completely unrelated, unsurprising, I don't know if you guys have heard, Instagram supposedly had like a huge leak. Every year they have, I honestly think it's intentional. Facebook and Instagram, which they're together, they should be investigated because it's like every year or every other year they have some supposed massive data breach. I think they're selling the shit. Information and data, personal information, that's money. I think these people are complicit and they really need to be investigated in what's going on. They should be shut down. I don't know how many years now, how many decades, every 1 to 2 years, some type of massive data breach. And get ready, all your information's out there. I think they're selling the shit. I think they're selling it. They need to be investigated. Lily, thank you again for the 10. They're very hated between majority of Iranians. However, they have strong lobbying team in D.C. They paid Mike Pompeo, and many other Republicans and Dems to make a speech at their gatherings. Damn. I saw one of his videos, JLP, but I gotta see if he has another one. The one I saw was okay, but I feel like I know he has to have more thoughts on it. Maybe that was it. All right, I'll catch you guys. Bye. Be safe. What was I doing? Did I flick you guys off?